by the Montana Television Network. Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
Heavy rains in the Northeast turn roads into rivers, flooding homes and damaging businesses. I'm John Schumo with the recovery effort affecting millions of Americans.
And back here in the Treasure State, homes and cabins in Glacier National Park have been lost to wildfire. What the owners of those structures are saying about the loss is also coming up.
Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us on this Tuesday. It is exactly 6:30. I'm Missy O'Malley with Chet Lehman. Matt Elwell will have our forecast in just a moment. Our story for you now, 20 million Americans were under a flood watch yesterday, many of them in Pennsylvania, where dozens of people were rescued after flash flooding turned roads into rivers.
Yeah, more storms are actually expected in that area today. CBS's John Schumo has more.
Rescue crews worked throughout the day Monday after powerful storms flooded a handful of towns in central Pennsylvania.
I mean, we're just a little coal town, but we need help. The water was up to my chest. I evac'd my mom, my cousin in a wheelchair.
This tow truck driver was stranded by a rising creek. He was rescued by a passerby, Tucker Fisher, who used his own truck to pull out the trapped motorist.
The truck started to lift a little bit, but pick up a little more speed, and she stayed on the ground. If something were to happen, I'd be devastated. So I was happy I was able to help.
The water was so powerful in some towns it moved entire campers downstream. Sheds and cars were tossed across neighborhoods, and homes were too damaged for their owners to stay the night.
And now it's up that way unless it's destroyed.
In southeast Pennsylvania, a rescue team pulled a 13-year-old boy from a river where he was stranded on a pile of branches.
Oh my God.
Ongoing rain and flooding has plagued neighboring New Jersey since the weekend. Residents there are trying to stay positive as they do what they can to clean up.
You know, we'll rebuild better than ever, because that's what we are. We're New Jersey people.
Local officials are asking for federal aid to help recover. John Schumo, CBS News.
John tells us around Baltimore, Maryland, residents say creeks overflowed in the blink of an eye, washing away cars, trapping city buses.
Wow, some incredible footage there. Here in Montana, it's fire, not water, that's causing problems. The Wigwam fire burning in Beaverhead Deer Lodge National Forest is now at 1,969 acres in size. The fire was first reported on Saturday, and it was caused by lightning.
And the Monument Fire, first reported back on August 6th, was caused by lightning as well. It's now burned more than 4,200 acres. Haypress Lake subdivision been ordered to evacuate, and his high school established as the evacuation center for that one.
Another fire burning in Beaverhead Deer Lodge National Forest is the Virginia Creek Fire. Now at 67 acres in size, it was also caused by lightning. It was first reported on August 2nd.
Now, the Howe Ridge fire that forced evacuations at Glacier National Park on Sunday has destroyed some structures on the north end of Lake McDonald. So far, 1,500 to 2,500 acres is burned on the west side of the national park. Rapid growth prompted evacuations last night around 8 o'clock. Evacuation orders were issued for the North Lake McDonald Road, Lake McDonald Lodge area, Sprague Creek once again as of last year, and Avalanche campgrounds. 32 miles of the Going to Sun Road from the foot of Lake McDonald to Logan Pass as well. MTN's Nicole Miller spoke to some of the people who had to flee that fire.
The fire burned actively throughout the night. Visible from the beach at Apgar Village, it's burning along this ridge. Landowners evacuated overnight, waking up not knowing if their cabins are still standing.
Everybody was told to evacuate at a little after 9 o'clock. And so we went to a motel room last night. We're here today to sort of assess.
We're trying to get to the cabin to empty out all the valuables.
Landowners eager to get to their properties for belongings, but even more thankful, all made it out. The status is unknown of about 24 cabins in the Kelly's Camp District on the west shore of the lake. Early reports indicate the fire's path of destruction passed through.
An observer, private person, went on his boat, in the boat, and went over to Kelly's Camp. All but 2 cabins have been burned in the fire, but 2 cabins did make it. We don't know anything about our cabin.
For landowners, not knowing if their cabins are standing is difficult but familiar. Last year, they were evacuated due to the Sprague fire. Evacuees hopeful Monday to return to gather belongings and protect properties.
It won't take us but a couple hours to get all the most valuable stuff out. We've got a couple trucks hired in Kalispell that will come this way as long as we get to go, and we'll clean out the cabin.
Landowners will not be able to return until park officials deem it safe. Reporting from Glacier National Park, Nicole Miller, MTN News.
Wow.
My heart wrenches hearing about all the cabins. And
it's unfortunate. We were having this same conversation last year about the Sprague Fire, the avalanche campground, that area as well. Just heart-wrenching, like you said, Matt. That's a great word for what they're dealing with.
Glacier hit one of their top temperatures they ever hit. It was last weekend. Over 100
triple
degrees.
digits for the first time ever up there. Just crazy stuff. A little break in the weather as we work through this week,
unfortunately, we still have some smoke to deal with. Showers are moving out of here. Not that we had a lot in our area. They kind of developed just off to our east and continue to push their way eastward as well. Temperatures holding into the 80s across the area for today. Don't look for a lot of relief from the smoke as you head into the afternoon. We are going to take a look at your forecast. It does include the chance of rain. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
Mining City news, police say 2 men were caught red-handed breaking into the gold mine yard in the mountains near Butte. MTN's John Amy reports on how the suspects were caught.
Police responded to the Highland Mines up here in the Highland Mountains about 8 p.m. Sunday when a caretaker at the mine yard detained 2 men, Gary Rubish and Ryan Hansen. Police accused the 2 men of illegally entering the mine yard and breaking into buildings in order to steal copper wiring and other items inside the mine yard. Police say the caretaker was at the mine yard Sunday evening taking inventory from a previous theft the night before. He became suspicious when he saw a truck prowling the area.
They're lucky he was still up there working. He noticed some suspicious people in the area. Hung around the area until they saw them enter the mine yard and then approached them and kept them in the mine yard until we were able to arrive.
Police suspect the 2 men were going to sell the copper wiring that was stolen from this mine yard.
What they do is they'll burn the insulation off the copper wire and then take the copper wire to some of the metal shops in town and try to sell it.
Just south of Butte, John Amy, MTN News.
Wow. Now, Gary Rubish is still in jail on felony burglary charges, criminal mischief charges. Ryan Hansen was released on bond yesterday. He faces a misdemeanor criminal trespass of property charge as well. And a lot of things have changed in Butte in the past 6 decades. One sweet thing has not.
That's right. In this week's Montana Made, we visit Shepherd's Candy, making life a little sweeter in the mining city the same way since 1954.
And that's even a good indication.
Bruce Shepherd started making candy here in 1954. He'd been making candy in several other Butte locations since around the turn of the 21st century. But this building on Harrison Avenue would be his final. If you'd walked in back in 1954, it wouldn't have looked much different than it does today. The candy wouldn't have tasted any different.
And Dad Shepherd always says you never want to toy with the quality of the product. So for us, it's just been a time-honored tradition that those are the recipes and the formulas and the techniques that follow. Because, again, a formula is good, you toy with the technique, and you will get something different, especially when it comes to something like candy.
Bruce passed on his knowledge and ultimately the business to his son, Bruce Jr. Gallardo began working for Bruce Jr. as a teen and is now part owner with Bruce's daughter.
Yes, again, I started working here as a freshman in high school, on and off through college. I still worked here, whatever. I, personally loved the craft, the art, the artistry, I guess, that goes into it.
And watching Ron work, it is an art. Recipes haven't changed, neither has the equipment. Whether it's the copper pots or the marble tables. Bruce Sr. bought these used to start Shepherd's Candy more than 6 decades ago, meaning these tools of the trade are likely more than a century old. Those tools turn sugar and nuts into this. But Ron remains a kid in a candy store.
Not overly. Sometimes Christmas, when you're Christmas time, I'm stirring, the stoves go on, Dave will come in and help out, and we'll have both stoves going, and 14-hour days, whatever, to keep up with it. You do get tired by Christmas, but all year round, it is something that's just enjoyable to do. It's a lifestyle, it's not a job.
Shepherd's Candy, promoting that sweet lifestyle for more than 60 years. In Butte, Chet Lehman, MTN News.
So good, by the way. Ron's wife and son also work at Shepherd's Candy, helping keep that family approach, first started by Bruce Shepherd Sr., keeping it alive and well 64 years after he sold his first piece of candy there.
My mouth is watering.
So
that was the cashew.
Was cashew brittle. Phenomenal with the metal tools, making that work on a table that's 100 years old. 2-inch marble table with those tools.
It is really cool watching
it was
it
artwork.
work.
It was absolutely fun. Ron, thank you so much for opening up the doors, let me in there.
And for the samples, Chet.
I had one little piece of the caramel, and then I had a little. Well, if you go in there, you always get a sample. Walk in the front door, everybody gets a sample. 64 years of that going on.
I love it.
So
I love
good.
it so much.
So good. Thanks again, Ron, for letting us in there with the camera.
I'm a little jealous right now. No big deal. We're going to take a quick break. Coming up in just a moment. SpaceX okayed a few reporters into its headquarters yesterday for a close-up preview at its new spaceship and space suits for NASA astronauts.
Cool. We'll have that story for you in a moment, but first let's check in with Gail King, see what's coming up at 7 o'clock on CBS This Morning.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS This Morning, former presidential aide Omarosa Manigault Newman is in Studio 57 with new recordings. We'll get her reaction to President Trump's claim that she's lying about what happened in the White House. And first on CBS This Morning, a look at how Reebok's newest shoe is taking steps towards sustainability. We'll go inside the company's innovation lab with how it turns corn into footwear. Wow. We'll see you 7 o'clock on the dot.